In this video, you're going to learn how to change the MAC address of your devices with the Python. Now, let's start with some basic terminology. First, what is a MAC address? So a MAC address is being assigned to every network device by its manufacturer, and it's actually being used for identification and communication purposes across the network. It often is that the MAC address is printed on the device itself, so the address is hard-coded in the device. However, it can be spoofed or temporarily changed for different reasons or purposes. There are a lot of legitimate reasons when changing the MAC address makes sense, such as when creating wireless connections to a particular network. And of course, there are also many illegitimate reasons to do it, such as for gaining unauthorized access to a network, for example. And I need to say that you should only use the information in this video for legitimate purposes only. Okay, one thing to add is that when spoofed, the MAC address is changed until rebooting the device or the system. That said, what we're going to build today is a Python code that will change your MAC address with a brand new one. So proceed, shall we? We're going to make this code compatible with Linux systems, and as you can see, I have a Linux Parrot operating system up and running here. So I've told you what's a MAC address, but how does it actually look like? So for example, it can look like this: A1, B2, E6, for example, 34, 1B, 6D. So any combination of two characters from A to F and 0 to 9. This is how a MAC address looks like. Alright, now the fun part, the coding. Let's actually go into a nano editor and let's say new mac.py. Alright, so first we'll import. I can just edit code in Nano like I do in Visual Studio on Windows. Okay, so first we'll import random. We'll also need to import OS for operating system commands and also subprocess. So we'll create two functions that will help us get a valid random new MAC address. And this code is actually inspired by a post on Reddit, which I'm going to link in the code or in the resources of this video. We'll start with the basic function, which is called getRand. And then this function is going to return random, so we're going to look into random choice A, B, C, D, E, F, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like I said, from A to F and from 0 to 9. So this function is going to return a random character from this string. Then we create another function to actually create a completely new MAC address. So we'll say get, or not get, let's actually say new MAC, not new man, but new MAC. Create an empty string. We start with an empty string, like I said, and we use a for loop. So for I in range 0, 5, we have new underscore plus equals get rand plus get rand plus this. Then we create a new MAC and assign it with a subprocess call. So this is going to give us something like, let's say, B0 45 14604B. And it also, up until at this point, if we run the new MAC, this is what we can get. But we also see that we have colon, and this is unfinished because we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs, and we need 6 pairs, 6 double pairs in this case, or any another two character combination, and to actually get the valid MAC address. So we exit the loop, we exit the for loop in this case. Let me just indent it correctly. So we exit the for loop, and then we'll say new underscore plus equals get underscore rand plus get underscore rand. And this is going to complete our address with the last two characters. And finally, this function is going to return the new underscore. Okay, so these are the functions. Now let's actually change the MAC with system calls. We changed the MAC address with system calls. So first let's print the old address. We'll say print os.system ifconfig eth0, and we'll grab for ether minus OE. I'm gonna explain this shortly. 0 from 9 to 0 from 9 A, B, C, D, E, F. We close the square brackets, 17 characters, and we close this one too. And I like to thank Ivo Avito on Reddit for this regex. Okay, now we change the address with subprocess, and first we need to turn the ETH0 down, but let me show you. So if I do an ifconfig here, we can see ETH0, so we do ifconfig ETH0. If I do ifconfig ETH0, it's only going to show me ETH0, and if I grab for ether, like I did in this case, it's going to only give me the line with the MAC address, and then minus OE is going to give me exactly the MAC address itself. So if I do the entire thing here, Control Shift C, Control Shift V, grab ether, no such file or directory. In this case, it's being taken, so 0, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. There's also another grab. So grab, like this. And we only get the MAC address, as you can see. So this is the command to get the MAC address. And in order to change the address with the process, with the subprocess module, we need to turn the ETH0 down. So we need sudo to make these changes. And I'll just say, so we need to make subprocess call. And this call is going to run the commands sudo ifconfig. So you have to specify each command individually when you do subprocess call. Subprocess and OS system and subprocess call have similar functionalities. So ETH0 and also down. This is going to turn it down. Then we get a new MAC address instantiated in a variable. So let's say new underscore m new MAC. So we run the new MAC function that we've just created, and then we make a system call to assign the new MAC address to ETH0. So we're also gonna use the subprocess call, and then we're gonna send the following commands: sudo ifconfig ETH0 HW ether, so for the Ethernet, %s %new underscore m, which is going to assign the new MAC address with the subprocess call. This is really cool. Then we can turn ETH0 on with the new MAC address assigned to it. Another subprocess.call sudo ifconfig ETH0 up. Here we turned it down, and now we turn it up or turn it on. And finally, we can print the new MAC address. So we'll say print, actually os.system ifconfig ETH0 grab ether. So it's very similar to the line here. Another grab. It's actually the same thing. Minus OE from 0 to 9 A, B, C, D, E, F. Close that. 17 characters. and we close everything. Awesome. Now Control O to save, Control X to quit, and let's actually run this. So our new, if I do an ifconfig eth0, we can see that our MAC address is this one, 0800 terminating in 09, and if I do python new mac.py, of course we have the valid syntax that it's actually necessary, so it's not like this doesn't have to be in quotes. Let's run it again. Subprocess call, we have another invalid syntax in this case, so we go back and correct that. eth0 ether over here, clear this and then run it one more time. Let's actually run it with sudo python new underscore mac.py. So if we run it with sudo, it actually changes. The first time it didn't change. So if I do an ifconfig eth0 now, we can see that it changed. It didn't want to change it the first time. I have a hunch that it works without the sudo. So if I run it again, let's try that again. Yeah, so I don't have to actually run it with sudo. It's probably because it doesn't actually change so fast as I run these commands. But anyway, there you have it. This is how you change your MAC address in Python. Now, I would encourage you to learn more about the subprocess and the OS modules as they come in the Python standard library, and you can do some pretty heavy stuff with them.